So we're up to Masechta Berachos, we're up to Daf Vav, and we're starting from Daf Yomi Beis, the last line before it gets wide. We were discussing the Yisurim Shel Ava, that if a person cannot figure out why Yisurim are coming upon him. Sometimes Yisurim Shel Ava, they had a big machloikis between what exactly Yisurim Shel Ava were, between machloikis Rashi and Ramban. Rashi says that what you can get Yisurim, even if you're not deserving of them, to be Marbi Yischar. Ramban says that no, it's for a shoygeg, but either way, the Yisurim Shel Ava, we went and had a few incidents where people said, they were asked, are they happy? They said, no, look, I don't want them, I don't want this schar. So we have a mice over here. Rav Huna tekifale arba meya danu dechamra. Rav Huna was a wealthy man. He lost 400 barrels of wine. It all turned to vinegar. Oil Gaver Yehuda, Achud Rav Salah Chasida came to visit him. Is the Rav Yehuda, the brother of Rav Salah Chasida, Rabbanan. They all came to see Rav Huna. Birmila, Rav Adav Rava of Rabbanan. It wasn't Rav Yehuda, the Achvar of Salah, but in fact it was Rav Adav Rava with the Rabbanan. The Amrulay, they said to him, "La'ayin bar memile." After all, something happened to you. Check into your deeds. Maybe you weren't. Why would this happen to you if you weren't something negative? Some of the Rav Huna told him, "Umi chashidna b'inaycham." Am I chashing your eyes for doing anything wrong? Some of they said, "Mi chash l'kadosh baruch hu david dina b'lay dina." What a kadosh baruch hu something without any reason. Some lahu yi'ikaman deshmiya alay milsa. If there's anyone who heard something in me that possibly could go ahead and explain why my wine went bad, Lema, please tell me. So Amalei, they told Rav Huna, Hachi Shmi'allah. This is what we heard about you. L'yov mar shibisha la'arisei. You don't give your shabisha to your sharecropper. You have a sharecropper, and that he's supposed to get right. He's supposed to get a certain percentage, and the shabisha, which is the zmuros of the geffen, the shoots of the geffen, when you cut them off, he's supposed to give them. Then you don't give it to him. So Amalei, Mika Shavakli Midi Minedi. He leaves me anything. Hakagun v'lei kulei. Mama steals everything from me. So I should give him this. So Amalei told him, Hainudami Inshi, Bosa Ganva Gonov, the time of Toyim. The Ganef who goes after a Ganef, he tastes the Ganeva. In other words, just because he steals from you doesn't mean you should steal from him. Elamah, you see, Bosa the Ganef goes the Ganeva. So Amalahu Kabil No'alai, the Yavin Alay, goes, I'm in Kabul, and he gave it to him. Ikadiyami, once he gave the vines to the sharecropper, some say chada chala, and this happened that is wine, that is vinegar turned back to wine. Ikadiyami, others say iyakar chala is davin b'dmei chamra, that the vinegar went up and he was able to sell it for the price of wine. Either way, he was able to recoup his loss. So it's just interesting, the concept of basagan of going there for the term tam. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's a big rule. Two wrongs don't make a right. One of the most powerful lessons that I ever heard was the mice with the Blusher Rebbe. The Blusher Rebbe was in the camps. I'm going to speak about it a lot. And there was this German that was hitting him. And every time he hit him, he said, "You still believe you're the chosen people? You still believe you're the chosen people?" And he looked up and goes, "As long as you're the one hitting, yes." And that's such a relation upon me, because the American way is tit for tat. Do this to me, I'll do this to you. It's not the Torah way. The Torah is we're expected to rise above. And even though you might have a reason for something, you're expected to rise above. Says the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. Anyone who goes against his base nature, what's expected, and goes and does what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to do, HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks away from his averos. It's a big, very important kuda in life, to go ahead and rise above our base nature. It's one of the things that I work on very, very much. Continues the Gemara. Tanya, Abba Binyamin Oimer, Al Shnei Devarim Hayusim Mitzvah. Two things I wasn't praying about. Kol Yomai, all my days. Al Tfilasi Shtei Lefnei B'Tasi. I was makbid very much that I should daven before I go to sleep. Al Mitasi Shtei Nesuna Ben Saf in the Dorim, and then my mita should always be facing north to south rather than east to west. Al Tfilasi Shtei Lefnei Mitasi. My Lefnei Mitasi. What does it mean Lefnei Mitasi? Ilema Mamish physically that I should daven in front of my bed. Lefnei Mitasi Mamish. From Rabbi Yehuda Maravi, came Rabbi Shulman Levi. How do you know when someone davens, there should not be anything between him and the wall? Shnemar. Chizkiyo turned his face to the kier. Mashma, the wall was right there. So therefore, it can't be that there was a bed that was interposing between Rav Abba Binyamin and the wall. So therefore, don't say physically, because he would daven right before he went to sleep, right? That's what he would daven. that he davened right before he went to sleep, but not that he davened, but the bed was between them. Now, regarding this halacha about davening next to a wall, the Beis Yosef and Simon Tzaddik says that in the name of the Rambam that you should if you're going ahead and the wall has pictures and something on the wall that it's going to a nice tapestry, it's going to share his kavanah. It's going to share his kavanah. So therefore, a person should be careful that he shouldn't daven between the wall, but not something like in front of the wall, some tapestry or pictures. And the Torah in Simas Tzaddik says that tefillah is in place of karbanis, and the kohen was barefoot, so there was no hafsaka, so there shouldn't be any hafsaka between him and the wall. And Afkamina, the Magen says, if you're a distance from the wall, like the Rambam, since you can't see, you'll be able to daven. Like the Magen Avram, right? Like the Torah, since there shouldn't be anything mafsik to you in the wall. If there's mafsik, even you can't see it, you won't be able to daven. Okay, there's akpada. People should daven next to the wall. And what was his other akpada? Other akpada? What mitasi shtei nesuna bein safim l'darim. The Amrav Chama be'Rebchina Amrav Yitzchak kol anosim mitasi bein safim l'darim havlei bonim zacharim. Anyone who places what his again, the Shechina was going east to west, so therefore we want our beds to be north and south. So therefore, anyone who goes ahead and davens north to west, he'll have what? Have children that are what? That are males. Because what does the pasuk say? And your concealed treasure will fill their stomachs. You'll be satiated with bonim. So therefore, mashma that if you are going ahead and the road sunech, if you daven to the north, then you'll have sons. But not only sons, but the woman will mapelas in the following, she won't go miscarry. It says in your concealed treasures, again, you play on words, concealed treasures versus tzaf in north, right? Will fill their bellies. It says by Rivka, there was what? There was Simon, they were twins in her stomach. They were two bevitna, so therefore you'll see that you just should, like Rivka carried full term, you'll carry full term. Just like Rivka carried full term, you'll carry full term. And now, since we're bringing in the sayings of Abba Binyamin, we'll continue. Tanya, two people come to daven. One finished earlier. Anytime it says one finished earlier and he didn't wait for his friend. And his tefillah will be Torah for one count. The pasuk says, he tears apart in his anger. For you, will the world leave? If you don't wait, you cause the Shekhin to leave Yisrael. And the Tzura leaves from its place. And this is speaking from Yisrael. That's the Makkah, the Mashasem. That's the Makkah, that's the Roifa Shosh Shechina. Bein Tzura LaKodesh Baruch Hu Shnemar. Tzur Yoladecha, right? The rock that gave birth to you. Heshi, you go ahead, you ignore the rock that gave birth to you. And the Tzur is the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Then Hintulei Maschar. If you raise what's the schar, come an aleph. I'm Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, Zeichel lebrachos halalu Shnemar. You'll be zeichel to these brachos. Let me read to you the whole pasuk. Listen, or you waited for my mitzvahs. It's a kosko kigali hayam. Kadosh Baruch Hu guarantees you will not be go ahead and not be destroyed from this. So what's this halacha about waiting? So if you look at the Taisus, top Taisus, they're speaking about their shuls. Their shuls were in fields. And in the fields you find mazikin. Mazikin can stir a person if there's two. But if you're one, he's one, and you wait for him, you don't have to worry about mazikin. But if you're going to leave him, you have to worry about mazikin. So therefore, therefore at night when mazikim are found, you should go ahead and wait. For the Ri would go ahead and daven for a long time, until everyone will leave. But if a person would come then late, right? He would look in the sefer. Most people finish their tefillah. That even though that person was he came late for davening, why do I have to wait for him? And the Hasakim would go ahead, he would learn, and he would be makbid, go ahead and not leave. So in Shulchan Aruch, it's brought down halacha in Shulchan Aruch Siman Tzaddik Sif Tesvav. Im nishar adam yachidi mispal beis hakneses b'sadais shebesadais. I feel it beis hakneses shebeir. He not like Taisus. It's even the city. Im hoya tefila arvis. Chayiv chaver lahamtim lo yichayiv to wait. Actually, he's saying tefillah until he finishes. Kadesh le yispal bel tefillah that he should not go ahead and be misval his tefillah. That would be the keneged midah. Kadosh Baruch Hu's tired tefillah. You would tire of his tefillah because again he's going to be stared that you're leaving. So Kadosh Baruch Hu says your tefillah in the count either. Midah keneged midah. And in fact, the yesh machmir and tefillah beyond even during the day. Well, base kenes shalanu sheim be'ir. Right. That's the marif with bakashas with nunim ein chaylan. If the person's davening for so long, you're not have to wait. The Mishnah is caught in Memches. Shadafkim nichlesu b'shava. They come at the same time. Avam nichles yichidi if they come b'shah shlayuchal esayim. If it comes what late. Imam tefillah ain't chayiv l'hamtim late. You're there. This guy comes late, and now because he's late, he's being ma'arich in his tefillah. You're not chayiv to wait. We saw that like Taisus the read. It's a midas chasidus to wait. The kivin shavaya shlayuchal esayim. Imam nichles itloy milsa sheina makar. The guy he sees that he won't be finished in time. Obviously, he's not scared. Im nisha yichidi. Miyo midas chasidus nahat naf b'chay gavna. Mishnah Berurah says that what like Taisus that'll be a midas chasidus to wait for that person. Okay. So we see from over here this Indian of Mazikim. It's a segue, this whole Indian of Mazikim, of Shadim. So let's do the Gemara, and then maybe we'll spend a few minutes on Shadim, explaining where they came from and why you don't have to be scared of them. Tanya, the Mali Nosna Rishus La'ayin Lerois, if Hashem gave you Rishus to see them, in Kol Beri Yochalam Mazikim. No one will be able to go ahead and stand in front of the mazikim. Mazikim literally means damages. We call them shadim, flushim shadod, because they're usually found in a place of desolation. Amar Abaya, inu nefishin minon, they're much more than us. The kami alon ki kisla l'ugya, they surround us like a ditch that's surrounding a vine. Amar Afuna, kol chad v'chad minin elefei, each one of us has minin alfei. On the right, we have 1,000. Excuse me. Kolchad v'chad minin alpha mismoila. We have 1,000 on our left. We're revasa miminei and 10,000 on our right. Amarava hay duchki the hay bekala when they used to go up, for they had the knisa of the kala of learning, and they would sit apart unless they felt gekfetched. Minay and havihan. It's because these mazikim are making us feel closer than we really are. And birkei the shilchi, when you become tired, your knees become tired, is minay ohani. It's because of them. Me'ane durabanon, the baloi, the chachamim who just sit and learn, where did their clothing get rubbed off from? Is mechufshi the dehani. It comes from there rubbing this. Kare the menafkin minayu, people are bow-legged, is man the boiler, it comes from them. Now, hi man the boiler meidalahu, if you want to know where they are, to know where they are, Lacey kitmud nehele, go ahead, take some crushed ashes. Unahade aporye, go ahead and sprinkle them around your bed. With safra in the morning, chazik kari b'tarnagula. You go ahead and you'll see their feet will be tarnagula. It says that the shadim were created in Hashmashos, and Hashem didn't finish completing them. Therefore, the feet are not feet of human beings. The feet are like that of chickens. Hayman the boy l'mechsinu. A person wants to see them again by putting the ashes around the bed. You know they exist, but you don't see them. If you want to see them, there's something that do not try at home. They say shal yasa the shinrasa. Bring the afterbirth of a black cat. It's a black cat that's the daughter of a black cat. And Bachrasa Bas Bachrasa, it's the firstborn, the mother was the firstborn black cat, and the child was the firstborn black cat. L'kalye benura, go ahead and burn it in fire. And l'shachke, then you take the ish and go ahead and crush it up. And fill your rice from it. When you'll see these mazikim. Right? The parsley, go ahead, take the ish and put it in a flask of lead. The parsley, take an iron seal and close it up. They shouldn't steal it. And seal it up. Bibi bar Abaye Ovid Hachi, he went ahead and did this, right? And he got damaged. So it says the Rabbeinu Chananel and Chagiga, why did he do this? Rabbi Abaya Hoya Misasek Beria Shadim. He was Isaac in the stuff, so he had to know about it. Boy Rabbanon Rachmi Alai B'Insid. Rabbanon, they daven for Rabbi Rabbi, they daven for him, and he got better. So what are Shadim, where they come from? It's a little bit about Shadim. Let's bring a few Mekaymis over here. Okay, so Gemara in Chagiga. Ton Rabbanon. Shish Devarim Neru B'Shidim. 6 things we can say about Shadim. Shloisha Kamalach Hasharis, 3 ways Nel Malachim, Shloisha Kamei Adam, 3 ways like Bnei Adam. This is Gemara in Chagiga Daf Zayin. Shloisha Kamalach Hasharis, Yesh Lehem Kanafayim, Kamalach Hasharis. They have wings like angels. V'tasim Yisayfa Olam At Sayfa Kamalach Hasharis, and they go ahead, they fly from one end of the world to the other like Malach Hasharis. V'yoydim Bo Sha'asid Liyos Kamalach Hasharis, and they know what's going to be like Malach Hasharis. Yoydim Salkavaitach, they mamish know. Ela Shoymim Mechuya Pargud. They're not told, but they hear from outside the Kaviyach, the pargud that separates the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Melachim from the Neshamas. Kamalach Hasharis. Shloisha Kamei Adam, 3 ways like people. Oichlam Shoysim Yadam, they eat and drink like people. Part of Varavim Kamei Adam, they multiply like people. They procreate like people. Umesim Kamei Adam, they die like people. Okay. So it says the Marsha. Al Kainira Hadamar B'Shedim Oichlam Shoysim Kamei Adam Klaimar Dava Roy Lechel Bnei Adam. They eat human food. Not animal food. So now we have a very, very interesting Shalos and Shuvas Yabi Oimer Chelik Dalid Yeredeya Siman Lamed Hey. Lafizeh in aim is spalin in the base of Avil. Ain't Sarach Lechsod Hamaris. You don't daven in the base of Avil, you don't have to cover if the Avil you don't daven there, you don't have to cover the mirrors. What's the whole Indian of covering mirrors? What's the whole Indian of covering mirrors? So we have this this Gemara telling us that with 3 ways like Malachim and 3 ways like Shadim or like Bnei Adam. And then there's this Shalos and Shuvas from Rabbi Vadius that's out. He says that if you daven in the base oval, you don't need mirrors. You don't have to cover the mirrors. If you don't daven in the base oval, Ulam, we see V'Shalos Shuvas Ginzei Yosef Schwartz, Shekasav Tamazeh, Lefi Sheba Bayis Ovel, Mitsuyim Ruchais. In the house of an Avelim, Ruchais, Royas, Mazikim, all different types of shyness for Shadim. And in Berachos and Gemara says the oval tzarich shimar mifnei mazikin, and oval has to be watched because of mazikim. V'chein midas adin mitusach connected. The midas adin is spread opposite of an oval. K'may shekasav Yerushalmi perakimel the moed cotton halacha ches kol shiva sacherev shlufa the shiva sheba cherev shlufa when the cherev is drawn. V'chein hu b'yaredeya. Kadesh la yira the mus hanach kalbin chatzifin. Now we shouldn't see literally the image of those chutzpah dogs, the mazikin in mara in the mirror. The yavli de nezek lachain. Therefore, mahafnim pnei mara. That's the reason why we turn around the mirrors. That's the reason we turn around the mirrors. Now, where do these shadim come from? So here's a source. V'tzilagam hi yolda estubal kayin. It says that in Perik Dalet and Berachos, Sila, she was was descendant of Kayin, was Lemech. He had 2 wives, Oda and Sila. And Sila, she also gave birth to Tuval Kayin. Latesh kol choresh nachoshes ubarzel. He brought weapons to the world. He went ahead and he sharpened iron and metal instrument and copper instruments to make them weapons. But Acha is Tuval Kayin Nama, and the sister of Tuval Kayin Nama. So there's 2 pshatim who she was. But Achos Tuval Kayin Nama, Dorsha Rabbi Seinuzal. So she was the wife of Mayach. If she was, so there's a remnant of Kayin in the world because most of Kayin's descendants were destroyed in the flood. All of them were. V'nikres Kain al Shem Shachoyu Maisa Noyim V'Neimim. She has beautiful midas. Maisa beautiful. She was called Naama, from Lashon of Neima. She hoisa Eishes Ashmedan. She was the wife of Ashbenoi, who was the head of the Shadim. Aim Ashmedoi, the wife of Ashmedoin, who was the mother of Ashmedai, who's well known from the Gemara in Gittin with Shlomo HaMelech. Vashedim noldu mimenu. When Shadim came from her, Vidalid Nashim Hoya Imois HaShadim. 4 women were the mothers of Shadim: Lilis, Nama, Igeres, and Machlas. V'yesh l'chol achas v'achas mehen machnois v'kitais. They each had their own place. Shel ruach hatoma ein behem mispah. There's no amount of them. They each have their own specific place. Each one rules at a certain period of time. We know there are 4 seasons of the year. there's the winter solstice, the summer, and the spring and the fall, or Tekufas Tishrei. We have Teves and the different Tekufas, but Bahar, they gather on the mountains. Nishba Korav Lahar Koshech. Chalachas my shelis betkufas mishosh kiyas achama chatzos alayla at night. They go from shkia to chatzos. B'chol machnaseyim ve'al kulon Moshe Shlomo, and Shlomo was Moshe over all of them. So this is a little bit about Shadim, where they come from, what they do. There is a Tosfos in Ayin Zion on the base in Yuma that Bisman said, again, you don't have to deal with these things, you don't have to worry about them. So therefore, again, we keep the halachas concerning them, but not something a person should spend their life worrying about, not going all over and worry about these things. So that's the Gemara that has to do with Shadim. Okay, we're continuing along. In Vav Amid Aleph, Tanya, Abba Binyamin, more halachas from Abba Binyamin. Ain't tefillah shel adam nishmas elu beis hakneses. The tefillah of a person is heard in the beis hakneses. Shnemar l'shmoya el arina vel tefillah. L'shmoya el arina, to arina, the song vel tefillah. The makam rina, in the place of arina, which is the beis medrash, sham teit tefillah. That's where tefillah should be. Amar Rav Bar Avad, Amar Yitzchak Minayin Shekadosh Baruch Hu Motziv Beis HaKnesses. How do you Kadosh Baruch Hu found Beis HaKnesses? Shnemar Elokim Nitza Ba'adas Kel. Uminayim La Sarah Shem Spalim Sheshchina Mar. Many 10 people daven the Shechina is there. Shnemar Elokim Nitza Ba'adas El. Uminayim L'Shloisha Sheyoshim Bedin. Even 3 people who sit in judgment. Shechina Mar. The Shechina is with them. Shnemar B'Kerev Elokim Yishpoit. Uminayim L'Shnayim Sheyoshim Bois the Torah that the Shechina Imahem. Shnemar Oz Nidberu Yeri Hashem. The mashma one to another. They will be speaking one to another. Mashma the 2 people. Ish el reyahu v'yakshiv Hashem, and Hashem he waits. He waited for them. So you see 2. And the pasuk ends off v'loishe shemai, and pasuk ends off, and those who think of His name. Amar Rashi choshev adam lasos mitzvah. If a person thinks about doing a mitzvah, v'nenas, and as a result he thought of it, and then he was honest, he couldn't do it. V'yasa ma'ila, because the Torah considers it kilu asa, as if he did do it. How do you know if one person sits in the Torah, that the Shekhinah will be with him? Shnemar, every time my name is mentioned, I will come what? And Elechas, I'll come to you, and I'll bless you. So Lashon of 1. So you have a kasha. So why do you need 10? Even one person, what's 2, 3, 10? If one person, the Shekhinah is there, you have to tell me 2, the Shekhinah is there. Says on the tray, this is 2 people are there learning, and the words are written down in the Sefer of Zechroinus, the Sefer of in Shemayim. One person, his words are not written down. Now, the question if there's 3, then why 10? Or 2, why 3? I might think that what a 3 it doesn't have a din of limit Torah. 3 is just shalom to make that you have a court to go ahead and settle claims and tainas on people. But since I'd say you think it's not a place of makam Torah, therefore the Shekhinah is not there. The din nami hainu Torah. Even psak din is Torah. So just like 1 learning Torah, the Shekhinah is there. 2 learning Torah, the Shekhinah is there. 3 come to judge, the Shekhinah is there. It says the Gemara b'chimachad I feel tilsa asar miboy. So what's unique about 10? If after all 1, 2, and 3, it says the Gemara asar kod meshchina. By asar the Shekhinah comes first. The Asya, Tilsa, ad the Asra. The 3, because the Shekhinah doesn't come until the 3 are sitting down. Then it comes. So regardless of Asara, the Shekhinah comes first. Amar Bavin, Baravada, Rabbi Yitzchak. How do you know Kadosh Baruch Hu puts on tefillin? Shneimar, pasuk says, Nishpa Hashem b'yiminoi, u'bizroya uzoi, b'yiminoi zu Torah, Shneimar miyimino eshtas lamoi, u'bizroya uzoi, in the strength of his hand, of his arm, elu tefillin. Shneimar Hashem oiz la'amoi, Yitain, had tefillin ois, Haim Yisrael, Dechsiv, V'ro, Kol Amei Haaretz, Ki Shem Hashem Nikro Elecha. The Amei Haaretz will see the Shem of Hashem. They speak about tefillin shel roish, V'yirim Elecha. Tanya, Rebbe Lezer Gadol, Ma'il tefillin shel roish. They used to go to battle. They would wear tefillin and it would scare them. Maybe that's where the idea that Jews have horns come from. I don't know. Amalei Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Rav Chia bar Avin. Hani tefillin the Mari Alma tefillin of Hakadosh Baruch Hu ma'kasav bei. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu, we said a big chiddush that just like what we have tefillin and Hakadosh Baruch Hu is tefillin. Now we know what it says in our tefillin, right? You have the parshas in our tefillin. The parsha of our tefillin, it says v'hoyim shmoya kadosh tikol brechem v'hoyim kiviyacha, and the parsha Shema. So that's in our tefillin. So what about Hakadosh Baruch Hu's tefillin? What is it written? Amalei, Umi Kamcha Yisrael Goy Echad Baretz. Who is like Yisrael Goy Echad Baretz? For the Gemara, Mishnah Kodesh Baruch Hu Shvichas Yisrael, does Kodesh Baruch Hu get praised by praising us? In the Chsiv, Es Hashem He'emarta, Hashem, you have praised Hayoim, Hashem He'emircha Hayoim, double lashon. Amalei Kodesh Baruch Hu Yisrael, Atem Asisuni Chativa Achas Ba'olam. You've made me a Chativa Achas Ba'olam, a shtick in this world. Ani Eschem Chativa Achas Ba'olam. You did one good for me, I'll do one good for you. Atem Asisuni Chativa Achas Ba'olam. Shnei Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. You made me in the world. Ani Eschem Chativa Achas Ba'olam. Shnei Mi Ka'amcha Yisrael Ech Goy Echad Ba'aretz. You are Echad Ba'aretz. You made me one, I make you one. Amalei Rav Achabrei the Rav the Rav Ashi. Henach B'chad Beisa. That's when the Tefillin Shel Yad one. That's where it says, Mikam Chesol Ge'echad Ba'aretz. The Shabbat in mind. There's always four. So what are the other three? Amalei Kimi Goy Gadol. Okay, we have a few psukim over here. It says, Kimi Goy Gadol. Asher lo yelakim kroiv me'elav kashem elikeinu b'chol kareinu elav. That's one pasuk. Kimi Goy Gadol. Next. Umi goy gadol asher lo yichukum mishpatim, pasuk in Devarim. 3. Ashrecha Yisrael mi kamoicha am noishan b'Hashem. 4. Oy hanisa elakim lovay lekachas loy goy mikerev goy. 5. L'sitcha elyoin yihachi nafesh l'tuva l'chor. You have 6. You have mi gadol. Mi gadol is 2. Ashrecha is 3. And Nisa Lakim is 4, Lasech Elyon is 5, and you have number 6 is like Mikam Choy Yisrael. So you have a total of 6. Yihachi Nafesh L'Tuva, but you have too many. You have 6, and you only have 4. Elaki Mi Goy Gadol Mi Goy Gadol the Damil Adodi B'Chad Beisa Ashrech Yisrael Mikam Choy Yisrael B'Chad Beisa Oya Nasa Lakim B'Chad Beisa L'Sitr Elyon B'Chad Beisa. So therefore you divide them up so that you would double up in cubbies and and all of these written, all 6 of these are written in the Tefillin Shel Yad. So what's this whole Indian of a Kodesh Baruch Hu wearing tefillin? Again, we're speaking metaphorically. Kodesh Baruch Hu does not have a mitzias. He doesn't have a physical body. He's incorporeal. So what is this Indian? So there's a Rashba. This is the Teichen of the Rashba. This is not his words. This is a paraphrase of the Rashba. Tefillin nikra teitafais, which is a lashon of tafshit. Teitafis is a tafshit. It's literally it's a jewel of tafshit. We put it on the arm, connected our heart. L'hoy raise 2 things. Echad, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem loves us, that we Hashem v'yichuda v'zichroin haksuv mitfilin hu chaysim al zareinu. We go ahead and we say we're David, the Yichud, the Shem, and the Zichron of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for us. And the second thing is to show that the Reishis HaSeichel and Shoirish of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which comes from the heart. Hakol mi toyes barach. So 2 things. 1, we show that the Avos of Hashem, the Yichud of Hashem is David to us. And the second, that the Reishis HaSeichel, the beginning of Seichel, and the Shoirish of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which comes from the heart, the mind, literally is on our arm. Now, Kamoy came to Tefillin Shel Rosh, the Tefillin Rosh, that we go ahead and we glorify the Yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Mitzvahs of Hashem by putting on top of our head b'makom gavoya, and also when Merames that the ideas of the moich that comes from the lave, that it's makabel from the lave, HaKadosh Baruch Hu who is the shayrish of everything. So that's the whole Indian of Tefillin Shel Yad and Tefillin Shel Rosh, and that's by us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu also is mishtabeach in us, and he places us for glory. And just like we are menichem on our lave to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the shayrish of everything, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, him has techilas hamachshava shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are the beginning of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's machshava when he created the world. Berachos bara l'kim es shmayim es haaretz. Berachos b'shvil Yisrael shenikra reishis v'asai. We're the purpose of creation. So just as we, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our shayrish, we are his shayrish. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mishtabech b'lamei kishar onu dveikim HaKadosh Baruch Hu is glorified when we're davik with him. And that's what the tefillin is mirror. So that's a little what the Tefillin Shel Rosh and Tefillin Shel Yad do for us. It reflects in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amar Rav and Barab, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Kol HaRogel Lov LeBeis HaKnesses Loy Bo. Anyone who's accustomed to come to shul and doesn't come, Kala Rogel, anyone who's again who used to coming to shul, and what, and he doesn't come. Doesn't come one day. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mashal Ba. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks about him. Where is he? Shneimar Mi Bochem Yirei Hashem Shemei B'Kol Avdei. Who fears Hashem? HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to a servant. Asher Holach Hasheichim Bein Noi Geloi. Who walks in darkness and doesn't have light. Right. So I was saying that you're going Lamakam Chayshech. The play on words. Rashi says Chashech and Makam Chayshech and Ein Noi Geloi. He doesn't. He goes. He's in walking in darkness. Why? Because he's not coming to my house to daven for me. Now, if the reason he go to shul is mitzvah, it will be light for him. Then it won't be light for him. Yiftach b'shem Hashem. The pasuk says, "My timer." What's the reason that let him trust in Hashem? Why is the Kodesh Baruch Hu upset at him? If he went for Dvar Rishus, because should I be talking about Kodesh Baruch Hu and he didn't? I think it's a big limud. Like I know it's like something's on your mind. You go daven, you rush, and everything. I know I do. I'm talking about myself. I rush out of shul. Kodesh Baruch Hu daven normally, and Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't take care of things. Rabbi Yochanan, B'shas Kodesh Baruch Hu Beis HaKnesses, and Kodesh Baruch Hu comes to shul. When Matzav Asar doesn't find the minion there, Miyad Koyes, he immediately gets angry. Shnemar, Madua Basi Vein Ish. Why do I come and there's no man? Karasi, I call out Vein and there's no one to answer. We have a bunch of sayings now from Rechel and Rechel and Huna, and anyone who goes ahead has a makom kavua. Elokei Avram as Kodesh Baruch Hu, God of Kodesh Baruch Hu will go ahead and he'll help him, right? And he'll help him. Because Avram, Dafka Avram, because of the following. Right? Kashem Shoim, Kashemes Omerlo, a Anav, a Chassid. Where is that Anav? Where is the person who's to daven here? Be Talmidu Shel Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu Menalei the cover. Makam and Kodesh Baruch Hu's Kaveh. Makam Shtiv Vayashkem Avram Baboiker. Ela Makam Hashem at Shaman. He came to daven B'Sidoim. He said he goes back to the place where he had stood. In Amidel Tefillah is davening. Shneimar it says by Pinchas Vayamad Pinchas Vayifalav Pinchas Tarav Nidav. Amar Chel Bar of Huna. Hayotzim Beis HaKnesses. Someone who leaves shul. Al Yafsiyah B'Siyagasa shouldn't take it shouldn't take big steps out of shul like you're running away. Amar Rabbi Alei Amar El Meifek. It's only when he goes leave shul. Aval Male, but going to shul mitzvahs lamar. You should run to shul. Shneimar near the full adas Hashem. Let us run. If go ahead and know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amar Rabbi Zera goes ahead and shows a similar limud. Meireish initially ki havi chazinon lahula abonim the karoyati lepirka b'Shabbat. I saw them running to shul on Shabbos to hear the shmuz, the shir. Amina kamachna rabbanon Shabbat. I said they'd be mechal Shabbos by taking big steps. Kim the shemana lahada Reb Tanchum Amar Rishon Levi. Since I heard this teaching of Tanchum Rishon Levi, the olam yaritz adam dvar halacha fil b'Shabbos, but should run to Rav b'Shabbos. Should nemar achri Hashem yelchu kari yishad. You should go after Hashem who roar like a lion. I know not me. No, I also began to run. I'm Reb Zera. Igra the Pirka Rat, the famous Gemara. Igra the Pirka. What's the scarf for going to go here? Torah is Rat is running towards it. I'm Rabbi. So therefore, I guess you can run and fall asleep. I'm Rabbi. Igra the Kala the Chuka. The Igla of a Kala they used to have the Knesses like these Kalas that we mentioned before is being stuck together that's the shadim. That's the schar. I'm Rabbi. Igra the Shmaitza Svara. The reward for learning is Svara. Is the depth of teaching that comes with it. The reward for Beit Taima, the house of an Ovel, the Shtikusa. This is a very, very important limud. People think they go to Menachem Ovel, they have to say something, they pass a thing, they think they could say something that make the Ovel feel better. By and large, you can't. Most people can't. You have to be a big person who could. In Sveitin, sometimes you say something that, if anything, it has the opposite effect. But the schar of Beit Taima is Shtikusa. Just the fact that you're quieted there is enough. It's a very good limud. Igrid Tainisa Tzidkasa, the reward for a tainus is the tzedakah you give that the aniyim will be able to eat afterwards. Sheshus Igrid the Hesped is the luyit. The main part of going to Hesped is to cause people to cry. If you give a Hesped, it should cause people to cry. Rabashi Igrid the Behilula Mili. The words of the schar of a wedding is nice words you say to what? To the chassan to make him happy. Anyone who davened in the back of the shul, they used to be in the back was in the east, the front was the east, they were davening facing away from the east. So therefore it's Nikta Rosh Shnemar, Sofiv Rishoyim is Halochan. The wicked they walk around. That's only if he doesn't turn his face toward the base Knesset. If he turns his face toward the base Medrash, and less than, but it's nothing to worry about. Who gathered the Kamatz base Knesset? There was a person who davened behind the base Knesset. And he didn't turn his face toward the base Knesset. Eliyahu came by and he saw him. He appeared like an Arab. Amalei, Eliyahu said to him, Kadu bar kanto kami marach. You have like two people, two Kadu, two deities over here. You're diving to one, you're diving to another. Sholach Sasara the Kadle, he went ahead and he drew his sword and he killed him. Okay. So the pasuk said, Rabbi Vimilo Rabbi Rav Nachman by Yitzchak. My keres belus zelus livnei adam. Now the pasuk, we have a pasuk over here. The pasuk had said, "Sovev Rishoyim Misalachon." We said that the people down in the back of the shul, the Sovev Rishoyim Misalachon. But the end of the pasuk is Krum Zulas L'Bnei Adam. It's an ambiguous term. Krum Zulas L'Bnei Adam. Since the Gemara darshan the first part of the pasuk, it's going to darshan the second part of the pasuk, right? We're darshan the second part of the pasuk. My Krum Zulas L'Bnei Adam. What does Krum Zulas mean? So Amalei. So he said that Rabbi said, these are things that mamish stand b'rum shalaylam. These are mamish tifa zachen. Bnei Adam is and boy, and people they go and mistreat it. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar dami travayu came kiven nitztarich adam l'biyos. Okay. So I guess the shot is what's oivid b'rum shalaylam tifa zachen is tefillah. So you're turning around, and therefore, what? That's why they're chorus. But the Amit Shavayo Kimachin Starach as a person is dependent, others need him. Panav, he needs others. Panav Mishtano is Kikrum. His face turns, I think Krum they touch is saffron. It's like red. So his face turns red because he's embarrassed. Nema Krum Zulas Yodam. My Krum, Kiyasar Ravdimi, Amar Ravdimi came, Oif Echad Yesh. There's a bird that lives in the Krachiyam in the cities by the sea, and Kruvshma, it's called Krum. The sun shines, it changes many colors. So to this person, his face changes because of his embarrassment, since he needs to come on to people. Rami Ravasi, they both say, like his person who's changing, like he has two dinim. Eshu mayim, fire and water, shnemar. A person is very careful davening mincha. It should be diligent to daven mincha. Eliyahu is answered by mincha shnemar because it says, "Vayiv alasai mincha vayigash Eliyahu anavi vayoymar aneni Hashem aneni." When Eliyahu came on Har Carmel to go ahead and disprove the Kaimram Habal, so he davened that Hashem should answer him. And the answer two things: Aneni sheteridesh mishamayim, Aneni shleyomu masek shafim. Aneni that the fire should come down from Shemayim and take on my carbon, and Aneni that people shouldn't say that what it's Maisa Kshafim. So there is a very, very special Indian of tefillah of milk. I once heard from B'Shem. I heard from my daughter from B'Shem Daniel Neustadt, Zayndesund. Very interesting. What's the chashivas of mincha? Now we all know that the Avois, this Gemara, we'll see Gemara later on, that the Avois was metaken with tefillas. Avram was metaken Shachris, Yitzchak was metaken Mincha, and Yaakov was metaken Ma'ariv. How do you know that Yitzchak was metaken Mincha? So it says in Pashas Chayesara, Perik Chavdalit, Pasuk Mem Gimel, the Yitzchak Lusuach Besada Lifnais Erev. He went to Lusuach to daven Lifnais Erev as towards the Erev. So we know it was Mincha. Now, where was he coming from? It says, Yitzchak ba miboy be'er l'chai ro'i. Yitzchak came from be'er l'chai ro'i, from the well of l'chai ro'i. Now, what is the be'er l'chai ro'i? So in Parshas Lech Lecha, Hagar runs away from being mistreated by what? By being mistreated by Sarah, and Amalek meets her and tells her to go back. And she says, "Vatipur Shem Hashem Hadoyre Eloha Ata Kel Rayi Ki Amra Hagam Haloim Reisi Achrei Rayi Al Kain Kara La Be'er L'Chai Ro'i. And Hine Bein Kadesh Bein Baret. So this seems to be the beginning of the Arabs. So Huye Per Adam, we're told, and she's informed by Be'er L'Chai Ro'i. So set up a news that there's only two nations in the world that contain the name of Hashem, Yisrael and Yishmael. And just as we believe in one God, they believe in one God. And not only do they daven 3 times a day, they daven 5 times a day. And Hashem can listen to them. Their God can listen to them. They daven to one God. So to circumvent that, Yitzchak Dafka would go to the Be'er L'Chai Ro'i, to daven, the place where the Arabs were created, to daven that Hashem should not listen to the tefillas of Yishmael. That's the koyach of the tefillah of Mincha, such an important tefillah. Haladik. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, says Rabbi Yochanan, right? Says Rabbi Yochanan, after tefillas arvis, be careful in davening Ma'ariv. People say it's Rishus. We'll have this Gemara later on in tefillas Hashachar. Shnei Tikain tefillasi k'tayros lefanecha. My tefillah should be like k'tayros in front of you. Masas kapai minchas orev, like the lifting of my hands in minchas orev. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar, after the Shachris, you should be careful what? By Shachris, Shnemar, Hashem Boiker Tishma, Koili Hashem, in the morning, hear my voice. Boiker Erech Loch, Saper, I arrange my tefillas for you. Anyone who has enough from the Suda of a Chasen, right? And I'm Misamechim, Oiv Chemesh Koilas, it's over in 5 Koilas. Shnemar, it says, Kol Sasain 1, Kol Simcha 2, Kol Chasan 3, Kol Kala 4, Kol Oimim 5, Hodu Hashem Tzvakos. If you make him happy, what's the schar? Amishum and Levi, Zoich LeTorah Shenit B'Chamish Koilas, so Zoich to Torah, which was given in 5 Koilas. Shnemar, Vahi B'Yom HaShlishi, V'Yosav Boiker, Vahi Koilos 2, Ubrakim, like thunder, Uv'anan Kaved Alahar, V'Kol Shaifa 3, Vahi Kol HaShaifa 4, Elkinyan and B'Kol is 5. If you count up Koilos, Vaksiv Cholam Royim as a Koilos should be 7. It's a Koilos to Koid Man Torah. Those Koilos that they heard were before Man Torah. Another halacha, Rabbi, Kilo Hikriv Torah. If a person's Masmecha Chasim, it's like he's being Makar of Karban Torah Shnemar, because it says, Meviim Torah Beis Hashem. They bring a Torah to the house of Hashem. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar, Rav Nachman says, Kilu Bona Achas Nechuz Yishalayim. Mamish, you make a Chasim happy. It's like the Mamish building one of the chubas of Yishalayim. Shnemar Ki Osev Ashvus Haaretz. I'll return the shvus those people who captured to the land. Could be Shoina Amar Hashem, like the word first. A 5th statement of Reb Chelboy, Reb Chelboy, Reb Huna, Kol Shadam Sheyesh By, Kol Adam Sheyesh By Yeres Shemayim, Dvarav Nishmayim. Anyone who fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whose words are heard. Shnemar, Seif Davar, Hakol Nishma, Esokim Yira, Kizeh Kol Adam. My Kizeh Kol Adam, what does that mean? Reb Elazar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kol Olam Kulu, Nivra Ela B'Shvil. That person, the whole world was created for this person. Person has Yeres Shemayim, that's the purpose of creation. It brings his Hashem's presence to the world. Rav Abba Bar Kana Omar, Shakal Zeh Keneged Kolam Kula, this person who keeps the mitzvahs in Yerushalayim, he's equal to the entire world. Shimon Pazi Omer, Vimila of Shimon Ben Zaima, right? Kola Olam Kula and Liver El Tzavis. The whole world was created to what? To go ahead and accompany him. Finally, if you know your friend he's used to giving you shalom, Yagam Shalom, beat him to the punch. Shnemar. Bake Shalom Refeu, seeks Shalom, in this case saying Shalom Refeu, and chase after it. The Imnasim, like the Hirse, what happens if a person gives you Shalom and you don't answer? So Nikra Gazlan, then the person's called you Gazlan Shnemar, Piatem Ba'artem Makerem, Gezela Ha'oni Bavatechem. You went ahead, you ate up the vineyard, and you stole from the poor in your houses. So, right. Now, if you look at the last Rashi in the page, Gezela Sa'oni, not only stealing from Nani, and use a gazela. The question is that Nani has nothing to steal. All he has to steal is the shalom. Ela gazela Sani shein like klum has nothing. Ligzal mimenu ela shalai laheshiv al shloimei. What are you going to go ahead? Is to go ahead right by not. You should answer his shalom and not steal that from him. Okay, those are all the statements of Reb Chelboy in the name of what of Reb Huna. I wish everyone a good day.